Cease not. Allahu Akbar. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We are on Sūrah al-Ṣaff, Surah 61, ayah number 5. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذ قال موسى لقومه يا قوم لم تؤذونني وقد تعلمون أني رسول الله إليكم فلما زاغوا وزاغ الله قلوبهم والله لا يهدي القوم الفاسقين. The surah concentrates on unifying believers together in one row, as one group, as one building where they're united, complementing, strengthening each other. The next ayah speaks of a community that failed to do so, even though their message was supreme. So sometimes the message can be supreme and the best, but the people who carry the message do not fulfill the requirements to carry the message. They don't have what we call the tahammul, the ability to carry and fulfill the responsibilities of the message as a blueprint for the Muslim community, an example for the Muslim community how not to become. So on one side we condemn the Bani Israel, but on the other side it's a call for introspection that we usually do the same thing they did. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that remember the time when Musa said to his people, Musa alayhi salam, as you know, formidable Nabi, a Nabi of immense knowledge of Nur and immense resolve, capabilities, and so on. And obviously he stood up against the Fir'aun. He delivered his people from the tyranny of Fir'aun, and then he brought them into the light of Nur, of another place, another land, and so on. So when they escaped Fir'aun, this is where now Allah gave him the message, the Torah, and all that. So remember the time when Musa said to his people, Ya qawmi, in lima tu'dhunani, O my people, why are you hurting me? I'm the reason why you are still alive. I'm the reason why you escaped the tyranny, oppression of Fir'aun. I'm the reason why you have freedom. And now you come back to bite the hand that feeds you. Lima tu'dhunani, why are you hurting me? Why are you rebelling against me? Why are you now disobeying my commands? Why are you not supporting me? Why do you always now find excuses not to do what Allah wants you to do? So this is how you hurt a Nabi. Right, so this was now, unfortunately, the trend of this people, the Banu Israel, that they were always in the mood and mode of hurting their Nabi. And later on, it accelerated to killing their Anbiya. So the track record of these people. So nothing's really new with these people. It's the same old, same old. They still do the same. They have no regard for human beings whatsoever. They had no regard for their Anbiya, and they had no regard for Musa. So why are you shocked that they have no regard for you as Muslims? They're the same people. لما تؤذونني وقد تعلمون أني رسول الله إليكم. Even though you know that I am a Rasul of Allah to you, I am Allah's ambassador, I am Allah's representative, I bring down to you Allah's word. And when I bring Allah's word, then you must respect that because it is Allah who's speaking. I'm not the one who's speaking, I'm just an ambassador, I'm a messenger. So you should honor the messenger because of who has dispatched him. Anni Rasulullah ilaykum. So they did this, they heard him, they went through so many adventures and ordeals to hurt and to humiliate and to insult, and they were just plain jealous of Musa. So Musa was from them, he was basically an Israelite, and he was there when they were there with the Pharaoh, and they were obviously alien to the Egyptian civilization. They were not Coptic, okay, they were foreigners in Egypt. And after a time, xenophobia crept in. And Pharaoh said, enough of these people. They make a lot of money and they don't do anything for the country. So we're going to enslave them. So Pharaoh enslaved them. And Musa alayhi salam's mother and his brother Harun were part of that group of slaves, enslaved people. Musa alayhi salam, as you know, escaped because his mother put him in the Nile, and then he was taken in by the Pharaoh's wife and the Pharaoh's family, and he was raised by the Pharaoh. So they said that Musa is privileged, but they didn't know that he's actually a Banu Israel. Yeah, he's actually one of them. So anyway, so that they didn't appreciate that Allah sent Musa to rescue them from Pharaoh, and when he did, they didn't pay him his dues, they disrespected him, they humiliated him, they insulted him, and they hurt him, and they abused him in so many different ways, and so on. فَلَمَّا زَاغُوا أَزَاغَ اللَّهُ قُلُوبَهُمْ. So when they now moved away and swerved away from the truth, Allah redirected their hearts. Allah then turned their hearts away from the truth as a natural process. So if you don't want to follow the truth, Allah will just make it easy for you not to follow the truth, because that's the rule of destiny. That's how Allah works, that if you want to go this way, when you take a knife and you want to cut somebody's throat, Allah won't stop you. That's how destiny is. Because you want Allah then to create the effect of cutting the throat, Allah will allow you to cut the throat, otherwise there will be no equal footing. Right? Then it will not be an equal playing field, that for some people the knife cuts and for other people the knife doesn't cut. So if you want to go astray through your own volition and your stubbornness, then Allah will just help you along. Go. He's not going to stop you until you make tawbah. It doesn't work that way. Otherwise, there'll be no divine justice. Divine justice is that you allow people to do what they want to do through their own volition. He'll help you either way, this way or that way. And if you want to be good and you want to do salat and some zakat, and Allah will help you there also, because that's equal playing field. So فَلَمَّا زَاغُوا أَزَاغَ اللَّهُ قُلُوبَهُمْ. So when they wanted to turn away from the truth, Allah helped them along. Okay, turn away from the truth. That's how Allah works. So you have to be careful what you ask for from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wallahu la yahdi al-qawm al-fasiqeen. Allah does not guide those people who are what you call as sinners, a sinning community, people who are fasiq, people who rebel against the order and command of Allah. They are not guided by the natural process. Okay, there's a cosmological process known as the Takwini Nidam. In that process, if you want misguidance, you'll find it. And if you want guidance, you'll find it. That's how Allah operates. Otherwise, there'll be bias and there'll be favoritism and so on. So Allah's rule is that if you want to be sinning and you want to rebel against Allah, then He won't stop you. And that is your volition. The consequences are yours now, and so on. So as a rule, Allah won't guide these people. These people, they are qawmun fasiqeen, they're sinners, basically. The people of Musa. Okay, so on the whole, there were some who were guided, and there were some who were good. وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِهَا. So Allah says about the Banu Israel, there were some of them who became leaders of Hidayah. Most of them were sinners, but some of them were good people, and some of them were pious, and some of them were God-fearing, and so on. But on the whole, the community was always stubborn and simply did not concede to the authority of another human being, which is the real disease. It's a real cancer. And why should I concede to the authority of someone? I'm human, he's human. And that's now in modern day, in your colleges, universities, that students are trained to think this way, that religious people and other people, they just want to control you with their authority. And they want you to do what they want you to do. So that's called now as a power struggle, and they want to dominate and dictate and so on. So the people of Musa, that because they were stubborn and jealous of Musa, they would not see the light, basically. But Musa was not doing this for him. It wasn't a power struggle with Musa. It was about Allah allowing people to get into Jannah. So the end goal is your felicity, your happiness. The end goal is not Musa's power, not Musa's authority. He's not there because he wants to control you. He's there because he wants to see you in Jannah. That's why he's doing this. Obviously, the secular-minded people in academia, they want to distort the truth and say, don't follow these people of religion because they just want to stamp their authority over you. Not realizing that the people who are genuine in their religion, especially Muslims, they want everybody to enter Jannah and be together as a community. They want to see unity in the community and so on. It has nothing to do with their secular aspirations. Anyway, so this is one community. And then Allah talks about another community who are also from the Banu Israel. Banu Israel, a huge clan of thousands and thousands of people, if not millions. Okay, so there was a time when Musa left, Isa came. Thousands of years later, Allah now narrates a story of Isa to show brotherhood, to show unity, historical unity, and futuristic unity. That when you look into the future, you want to say that we as a human race need to be together. Even with those who have not yet come with us, we want to be with them, we want to be together with them. So now they're visionaries. So Isa is a visionary, and he makes this profound statement. وَإِذْ قَالَ عِيسَى ابْنُ مَرْيَمَ يَا بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ إِنِّي رَسُولُ اللَّهِ إِلَيْكُمْ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيَّ مِنَ التَّوْرَاةِ وَمُبَشِّرًا بِرَسُولٍ يَأْتِي من بعد اسمه أحمد فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ قَالُوا هَذَا سِحْرٌ مُبِينٌ. Remember the time when Isa, the son of Maryam, said, O Banu Israel, I am a Rasul of Allah to you. I am an ambassador from Allah to you. I bring Allah's word, Allah's message, Allah's command, and Allah's authority to you. And my authority is now based on your tradition. What is your tradition? مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيَّ مِنَ التَّوْرَاةِ. You have the Torah, which is the book of Allah, which is a true book. And you know it's a true book, and you know it is Allah's command that's written in that book. And you know that I'm speaking on the authority of the Torah, that I'm here to confirm what's in front of me of the Torah. So that is one level of unity. Unity in theology, unity in message, unity in content. That I share the same content as what is in the Torah. I say I share the same theology as Musa alayhi salam, who is my predecessor. So I'm not dividing myself. I'm not saying I'm better than Musa. I'm saying I'm with Musa. So this togetherness is important for Muslim thinkers and leaders, that you should always be connected with your tradition. None of this fancy stuff. We need to break away from tradition. Islam is nothing if it's not tradition. You need a sanad. So my sanad is the Torah, my sanad is Musa alayhi salam. And you know Musa alayhi salam, you know the Torah, and you know everything I'm bringing to you is now confirmed by the Torah, because I'm confirming the Torah. So we don't obviously backstab people who came before us. We remain united with everybody who comes before us, and we are together as one historic community, where the engine carriage in the front is connected to the carriage in the back. We're part of the same train. We're not isolated, we're not disconnected, and so on. Which obviously goes against some of the ideologies of certain Muslim leaders here in the USA, that we need to detach ourselves from tradition. We must find another new Islam. Really? You're not going to get there. Allah won't allow it. It's a bid'ah, basically. There's no barakah in bid'ah. So you remain attached to your tradition, then you will be successful, because you must promote something that is authentic and also ancient, that is steeped in human tradition and human antiquity, where the beauty is. People here, they are proud of their tradition, and they will always say that our tradition goes back 100, 200, 300 years. Every town you go, they'll say founded in the 1800s. And if you see another city founded in the 1700s, then you see another little small town somewhere on the East Coast founded in the 1600s. And you take pride in that antiquity, right? Why do you take pride in antiquity? Because it's authentic. So likewise, Muslims should take pride in the antiquity and say that our Islam comes from Adam and Noah and Ibrahim and Musa and Isa and obviously Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we must not shy away from being traditional, and we must value that our tradition is as old as Adam, old as gold. So we must realize that we cannot break away and form a new modern Islam. That's a total bid'ah. It'll never happen. We won't let it happen. But the ideology of thinking, oh, we need a new inspiration, we need ijtihad, new ijtihad, let's have new rules, new conventions. So here, Isa alayhi salam is saying, musaddiqan, I am confirming what others before me brought. So that's the sifa, the beauty of a Nabi, that he confirms the truth of the previous Nabi. And that's how you remain one unit, and that's how you are from the same building, and you are a brick in the same building, except you were laid at a different time. And so on. So this is not tasdeeq, that the prophets come to confirm the previous truth. So here, Isa alayhi salam is now giving us a lesson that we must confirm the previous truth, and we're not jealous of each other. We're proud to be part of each other. We are the same community. So theologically, we're the same. So in principle, in usul, we are the same. So whatever there is, that's number one, that we must do this. Number two, since Isa alayhi salam is the penultimate Nabi before the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is the ultimate Nabi, Allah uses this Nabi, who is the closest in time to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to give us a prediction and a glad tiding. Every Nabi who came gave a prediction that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is coming. They all did this. Adam said this. Obviously, Ibrahim salam made dua for him. Musa alayhi salam said this. Isa alayhi salam said this. Every Nabi who came before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam predicted and prophesied that he will come. Okay, that's part of the iman. So every person who believes in wahi believed Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last Nabi. That's part of the aqidah. Right. So don't assume that Islam is new. Islam is as old as Adam. Adam believed that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is coming. Adam alayhi salam had a conversation with Allah, and he said, "Ya Allah, I remember when I was up there with you. I saw on the arsh, your arsh, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah." Adam asked me, La ilaha illallah, I understand, that's you. Who is this Muhammad? Adam is asking. So Allah said, this Muhammad, he is a son of yours who will come later, and he will be the last Nabi. So, I believe he is the last Nabi, confirming the truth. When you hear a prediction, you have to confirm it. Yes, I believe also. Okay, that's the adab. Right. So Allah, every Nabi gave glad tidings of Muhammad, and every Muslim who came with the Nabi believed Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last Nabi. That's our aqidah. So he's not a new Nabi for them. He's coming. Musa, as you know, made dua that he wanted to be part of the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ibrahim salam made dua, and Allah accepted his dua and told him, I've accepted your dua. One of your sons will become the last Nabi, and he will be here in Makkah, where you want to create this civilization. So Isa salam is the closest in time to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he's now confirming the prophecy and the prediction. The prediction is now presented in the words of the Quran as wa mubashiran, that I am here to give you not just a prediction or prophecy, but much more than that, good news, a glad tiding, that this is not just news, this is a glad tiding, this is bashara, and that is the spirit of Nabuwah, that a Nabi will always say good things about those they believe in. So I'm going to give you good news, the good news for me and the good news for you, that I'm going to give you glad tidings, not something that is just a historical fact. It's more than a historical fact. It is good news for all of you, even though you may not see him, but if you believe in him, it is good news that you believe in him. All right, so where's the good news for Banu Israel, Muhammad? Where's the good news? Well, he's coming 600 years later. So why is it good news for us? Because your belief in him will guarantee your entry into Jannah. That's why. So that's good news. It's part of your Aqidah. Yeah. So you have to read the Quran this way. Mubashir, the consequence. Why is this Bashara for the Banu Israel? The Bashara for Banu Israel is that now that you know he's coming and you believe in him and you testify that he is the Rasul of Allah, Allah will allow you to enter Jannah because of your Iman. That's why it's good news, even for you, even though he's not coming now. Right? So now even if you are a visionary and you want to establish a future civilization, then you have to be positive. You have to be optimistic. You have to be, earning Allah's praise. So you're not negative and you're not doubting. وَمُبَشِّرًا بِرَسُولٍ. So the good news is that he is a Rasul. Meaning, I'm not the one and only Rasul. There's another Rasul, which is the spirit of accommodation with the Anbiya. The Anbiya, they accommodate each other. Right? They don't backstab each other. And they're not jealous of each other. As the Prophet ﷺ, when he captured, the shaitan, and he wanted to, string him up against one of the pillars of the masjid. He said, no, he let him go. Then he said to the Sahaba, the reason I let him go is because I remembered the dua of my brother Sulaiman. So first of all, he's calling Sulaiman his brother. They were part of the same family. I'm not jealous of him. I love him, I respect him. He's my brother. And what did I remember about my brother? That Sulaiman made dua. Allah give me a kingdom that is not fitting for anyone after me. Rabbi habli mulk la yanbaghi li ahadin min ba'di. So when he remembers the dua of Sulaiman, he says that then if I now tie this shaitan against the pillar, I will be interfering with his kingdom. So I didn't do it. I let Sulaiman have the cake and the credit. So to that level of accommodation is only possible from a Nabi. We can't do it. We're rascals. Okay, we're jealous of each other. We backstab each other. We hate each other. But a Nabi, he accommodates everyone. So this micro accommodation that he's thinking, as he's thinking. So what kind of presence of mind and nur and nabuwa does the Prophet have that, I'm doing this, now I should tie the shaitan because he's a shaitan. And then I remember this dua. It's not my dua, it's my brother's dua. And I didn't want to interfere with the acceptance of his dua. So I said, no, this belongs to him, so let's keep it with him. I'm not going to jump into his kingdom. There's a lesson of humbleness, humility, accommodation, sakha is known in Arabic that the prophets have. So here, Isa is showing the same accommodation, that I'm giving you glad news of a Rasul. I'm also a Rasul, but I'm a Rasul to you. He's also a Rasul. He's a Rasul to all of mankind. And I'm going to say that so that I appreciate what Allah wants from him and I accept what Allah wants from me. So there's no jealousy there. Okay? There's no rancor. There's no bitterness. There's no showmanship. There's no upmanship. And that is the level of spirit of accommodation and togetherness. Ṣaff. You're in the same row. If you're in the same row, then you mustn't step forward to show that you are in front of the row, right? Unless someone pushes you to be the Imam when he's there in Masjid al-Aqsa, the night of Isra, that they were all standing there. Nobody wanted to go in front to lead the prayer. All the prophets were there. The Prophet didn't go in front. The other Anbiya, they pushed him in front. So until you're pushed in front, you don't assume leadership. That's how humble you have to be. If you're going to do ibadah of Allah requires you're humble and you're not arrogant and you don't assume you're superior. That's why Abu Hanifa told his student Abu Yusuf, never go in front of the congregation until people push you. And he never did. This is the greatest qadi on the planet ever, Qadi Abu Yusuf. He's following his teacher's instruction. This is about the adab of Islam. It's not just pure academic, secular knowledge. Oh, I am the greatest qadi on the planet and I can do whatever I want. My verdict is now enforced. If somebody goes against my verdict, I can behead him. But he wouldn't dare go in front of the Ṣaff. They're all in the same Ṣaff. Why? Because his teacher told him, don't go in front. You follow your teacher's instructions, orders. So he would never go in front. People literally have to push him to go in front. Unlike today, we have these tinny poppers, punks. They're just ready for leadership. That's not how the ummah is going to survive. You're going to destroy yourselves if you're going to do that. So you have to be careful. You don't want to be the imam. Even though you may be the greatest alim, faqih, mufti, qari, nobody. And we have that spirit. Our teachers will not go in front until they're told to go in front. They will back away. So don't crave to be an imam because you're not worthy of being an imam. Remain a follower. It's safer for you to be a follower than a leader. Leadership has so many other requirements which you don't have. You can't fulfill the requirements of leadership. So now so in Isa alayhi salam is saying that I am now giving you glad tidings of a Rasul. I'm not superior to him. Ya'ti min ba'di, who's coming after me. So I'm senior to him. Even though I'm senior to him, I'm saying that he's coming after me and he's a Rasul of Allah. Ismuhu Ahmad. His name is Ahmad. Okay, so this name comes as the Paraclete, the one who is honored and praised and so on. So in some of the Greek translations, you have this word Paraclete in the Bible. So regardless of that, you can look it up. Yusuf Ali has a whole index on this in his tafsir of this ayah. You can look at it. It's fascinating reading. It's good reading, academic knowledge, and so on. So Ahmad is the name, the one who is praised, and they've determined the etymology that it's the same meaning as Ahmad. And so it is there for us to evaluate and see, just to build our confidence. Not that we need it. We already know Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We already know Ahmad is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in the previous books, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's name is Ahmad. That's what, then you have to read the tafsir. Whose tafsir? Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, who is now the leader of the mufassirin of this ummah, says that Ahmad is the name of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam before he comes into the dunya. When he came into the dunya, his name is Muhammad. So this is true then. The Ahmad and Muhammad coincide there together. So, all right. So for that, so you say, okay, you need the Sahaba to understand the ayah. You can't just be, shooting from your hips. So, oh, maybe it means no. There's no maybe. It is what Ibn Abbas says. It's confirmed that his name before he came into the world is Ahmad, and that's why Isa alayhi salam, respecting that his name is Ahmad now, because he hasn't appeared. When he appears, his name is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's how you must understand the ayah. Isa alayhi salam is giving glad tidings and good news to his people of a Rasul who will come afterwards, after him, and his name is Ahmad. So that's how now we see the historical unity of all the prophets together. They stand in one line, one role, fortified, unified, together, united, respecting, loving, caring for each other, and being a formidable power with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyway, so this is an understanding we have of this. Isa alayhi salam being the penultimate, and because he's the penultimate, Allah decided that I will quote him. Otherwise, every Nabi came and gave glad tidings of Muhammad. Isa is the closest to Prophet in time, therefore he's mentioned exclusively. فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ قَالُوا هَذَا سِحْرٌ. Unfortunately, when people realized that Isa alayhi salam is speaking the truth, and when the truth was confirmed with evidences, bayinat, proofs, that Isa is speaking the truth, people now became jealous and they broke the unity in the theology, and they said, هَذَا سِحْرٌ مُبِينٌ. This is open witchcraft and magic and so on. So they denied the truth based on their human frailty and inconsistency, pride and arrogance and bigotry and jealousy and all of that. I mean, that why is Isa talking about Ahmad and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he's from the Banu Israel? So they brought in tribalism into the mix, and they said that Muhammad is from the Banu Ismail. Why is Isa talking about the Banu Ismail when he's Banu Israel? Isa is Hebrew, right? He's Jewish. Muhammad is Arab. So when this news came to the Jews of Yathrib, what is this? Why is Allah changing his plan? What's he doing? The last Nabi, Messiah, is supposed to come from us. Why is he choosing this one who comes from them? Meaning the Arab. So they're not worth writing home about. So why are you now saying that he's from the Banu Ismail, the Ummiyun, those who don't know how to read and write, and we are Ahlul Kitab, we know how to read and write. So we're the sophisticated, we're the educated. Why didn't Allah choose the last Rasul to be from our community? So then they had a sihr mubin. This is pure magic. So the bigotry, racism, tribalism all came into play, which is nothing new, as you know, everything's in front of you in Gaza and all of that. So I'm saying is that you must understand that this is a historical reality. And it's not too far-fetched to say they're the same old. They haven't changed. They're the same people. Unfortunately. So this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the news of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was already written in the books of the Torah, in the Injil, on the tongues of all the messengers. Everybody knew of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the people who reject Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they're not from the Banu Ismail, they're from the Banu Israel. And that is based on pure tribalism and jealousy and bigotry and all of that. So that is now the sihr came upon them. Their own disobedience became a sihr against them. A magic against them. It stopped them from believing in the truth. وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنِ افْتَرَى عَلَى اللَّهِ الْكَذِبَ وَهُوَ يُدْعَى إِلَى الْإِسْلَامِ وَاللَّهُ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ. Allah confirms that who is more oppressive than the one who fabricates and lies against Allah. افترى على الله الكذب, lies, falsehood, that whatever they say is all false and it is lies. And they say this in the name of religion, in the name of guidance, in the name of progress, in the name of peace. Islam, while they are now claiming and calling people towards Islam, meaning that you can't do this. Islam here means the literal Islam of surrender to Allah's will and so on. So here we see that there's another historical trend, and that history repeats itself, unfortunately, and they all fabricate lies in the name of now goodwill and peace and diplomacy and whatever it is, that the words that they use, words of kadhib, words of lies and fabrications, inventions, all of that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says they are the most oppressive. So oppression here is now theological oppression. Unfortunately, through the convention of human rights, which is the only language we know how to talk in today, we only know the language of human rights, political rights. That's all we know, because we've been mesmerized and brainwashed by the West. The Jeffersonian American values of secularism, human rights. So it's human rights, if you kill somebody, that's oppression. But if you fabricate a lie against Allah, that's not oppression. What does that have to do? That's religion. Allah says it is oppression of the heart, lowest form, adhlamu. So we have to get off this bandwagon of assuming that oppression has to do with human rights only. Oppression in Islam is concerned with Allah's rights also, divine rights. So what we do is that as Muslims, we stand up for divine rights. We advocate Allah's rights. In Islamic fiqh, it's very simple. See, the early Muslim scholars, they were geniuses. They worked it out, the formula. They say in Islam, there are two types of rights, which you all know. One is huququllah, and the other is huququl ibad. It's straightforward. It's the first lesson you learn in usul. Rights of Allah and rights of people. Right? Everybody knows it. Huququllah. So the Muslims, they understood that Allah has rights. And who advocates Allah's rights? The Anbiya, the prophets, the messengers, the Muslims. If you divorce religion from the discussion of rights, then you're secular. Then you're not Muslim. Then you are misguided. But Allah throughout the Quran and the Rasul throughout Hadith says that there are two types of rights. Allah has a right over you also. What is right? That you worship Him alone without committing shirk. That's His right. And who stands for that? The Rasul, the Khalifa, and everybody else. So here, learn the terminology of the Quran. Don't resort to the terminology of human rights. It will mislead you. It will misguide you. Then you will be deceived and you will be distorting Islam. Then you'll be just promoting secularism, secular ideas, dunya, human rights. And then you can't even do human rights. You don't believe in human rights either because you exploit the heck out of everybody else on the planet. Where's your theory of human rights when everybody in the world is being oppressed? And you don't want to do anything about it. You want people to be oppressed because that's your agenda. And so on. But this is all false. Iftara, inventions, fabrications, and kadhib, lies and more lies and more lies. But yet their message seems to be peace, diplomacy, human rights, and all of them. But that is where the injustice occurs. The injustice is in the thinking. It's in the ideology. The injustice is in the theology. And that's what people, especially Muslims, as they're now coming to terms with the election and saying, we want this, we want that. But you don't realize that you're promoting injustice by promoting these secular values. Wallahu la yahdi al-qawm al-zalimin. Allah, as a convention, Allah does not guide those who are oppressors. Even in thought, even in ideology, even in theology, if you're an oppressor and you don't accept and appreciate Allah's rights, you're a zalim. You are an oppressor. You will not be guided. You will not come to the true Islam of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that is the clear message here. That first of all, look at the superb unity amongst the Anbiya, because the Anbiya, they represent Allah and His rights. So they will do nothing to override the justice that Allah has and the peace that Allah promotes and the sukoon that Allah gives by being united in one message, united on the same platform, standing in the same saf, in the same row. That is how you see now this as a mu'jiza, that Allah has created a community of 120,000 prophets and anbiya and rusul. They stand together and they have the same word, the same philosophy, the same ideology, the same theology, and the same message. Now Allah created this group, and human beings must testify to that group and follow the order of that group and follow the guidelines and the example of that group in their ideology, in their thinking, in their aspirations, and so on. So that the effect of this is that you create a Muslim community, a Muslim society where everybody thinks about Allah and thinks about Islam the same way. So this is the message here in this surah, through Musa alayhi salam's community, how not to treat a Nabi, and through Isa alayhi salam's message to people who's coming after him, how to treat a Nabi. And the way to treat a Nabi is to confirm his prophethood. That is the greatest assistance that you can give to a Nabi, is to confirm his messengership and then to help him promote his message. That is the best way to help a Nabi and a Rasul. And that is what all the prophets came to do, and they did it very well. Alhamdulillah. So this is how you want to see now the underpinnings of the surah. That the surah is calling Muslims to be united in their understanding of Islam, in their theology, in their understanding of the Rasul. And so then they'll be standing in the same row and making sure they follow the lead of the prophets. Prophets lead and his people follow. And that is the order. Anyway, the next ayah has a lot to discuss. We'll leave that for the next time, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. We'll see you soon. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, subhanallah, alhamdulillah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Alhamdulillah.